Hello Cafis, I hope you're doing great today. This video is going to be a tutorial on how you can make your own cold porcelain at home. I try to keep as many details as possible, including some tips and hacks I've learned after making a few batches. To get the best results, it's important to follow each step carefully and avoid skipping anything. So the star of this recipe is corn flour, which you can find at any grocery store. Just make sure it's plain, uncolored and unflavored. Next ingredient is white PVA glue, also known as school or binder glue. This gives the clay its texture. It dries clear, is safe and strong. I'm using the Faber-Castell, but any liquid white glue works fine. Then coconut oil. This keeps the clay soft and flexible, and also it prevents cracking. Just make sure it's plain without color or flavor. Next, white vinegar. This keeps the clay mold free and preserves its texture for 2 to 3 months. And finally, white acrylic paint. This prevents the clay from turning yellow as it dries. If you don't add it, your clay creations may appear translucent and slightly yellow. However, if you're aiming for the translucent effect, you can completely skip this ingredient. I'm leaving this here so you can write down or screenshot the ingredients to use later. To make the clay, you'll need a bowl. So I normally use a ceramic bowl that I bought specifically for making clay, and since I'm microwave, this has been my best option. For the microwaving method, I recommend using a ceramic bowl or a glass bowl. If you are double boiling, you can use a heat-proof glass bowl or stainless steel bowl. To mix the clay, I'm using this silicone spatula. You can even use silver, but I recommend completely avoiding wood or any other material since they tend to stick to the spoon or even change the texture of your clay. I'm using this measuring cup to measure all the ingredients perfectly so that I don't mess up with the final texture. And that's pretty much all of it. Now let's get starting to make the clay. I will be going in and mixing all the wet ingredients so that I don't end up in any unwanted lumps. Once I have added all the wet ingredients, I will be continuously mixing it for around 3 to 5 minutes until it comes to this consistency. So for the microwave method, heat the mixture on low power for 20 seconds at a time up to 5 rounds. After each round, take it out and mix well. If needed, you can even continue in short intervals until you get the right texture. Just make sure to keep the power very low, around 20 to 30% or about 200 to 300 watts, so it doesn't overcook. If you don't have a microwave, you can do the double boiling method, where you have to continuously stir under medium or low heat until you achieve the right texture. After my final 5th round, the texture looks 90% cooked and 10% wet. This means the clay is ready. To test it, it should feel sticky when pinched and non-sticky when pressed into your palm. The final step is to knead the clay. Spread some corn flour onto a clean surface and start kneading the clay for 10 to 20 minutes. You can check the quality of your clay by doing the teardrop test. If your clay passes this final test, you have successfully made the best batch of clay ever. I store the clay in an airtight container to prevent excess moisture, which can cause mold or even dry the clay out. You can also place a tissue inside before closing the container so the moisture from the clay doesn't evaporate, which could also lead to mold. So thank you so much for watching this video. The next video will be on how I color this clay, the tools that I use, and how I come up with creative ideas. And see you soon. Until then, bye bye.